it's just a shit way to live, isn't it? Like, at what point do I just grab control of myself? Sorry,
yeah.
So
it's what they say, that
grab control of myself.
Grab life by the balls.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, you know what?
Squeeze that
I swear to God it's true. I swear to God it's true. You know, when you start to actually decide and you make, and it is a decision, and I don't want anybody out there to get it twisted, it's a decision that you have to make.
If you want to be somebody.
Yeah, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, then you've got to wake up and you've got to fucking pay attention. Like, and I know that's come from Sister Act.
It's as cliche as it sounds.
But it's so true.
Cheesy it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's so true. God damn it.
Welcome back to the Benchwarmers podcast.
Do you remember when Zed used to go, "Welcome back to the Benchwarmers"?
That was last year. That
was 2024.
New year, new me, Zed.
Yeah, new me. That was my New Year's resolution, not to act so ghetto.
Well, to be fair, it's not your fault. You're a product of your environment.
Product of the environment, exactly. I grew up in the ghetto, born and raised.
Born and raised himself at the age of 9.
At the age of 9, he was raised himself,
Paid me on bills.
It's crazy, yeah.
I had to go to the shop to get a lick and the key.
Anyway,
I was thinking about something the other day, and I was speaking to my wife about it, about just some of the experiences I've had in it, because we were speaking about like my current job, and and obviously I'm really enjoying it, and it challenges me every day, etc., etc.
It's not like you're forced to say that because you still work for them, but
no, genuinely, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but like,
it's challenges, it's peaks and troughs, as they say.
And you know what? You would rather work somewhere that mentally and physically challenges you rather than just going in and doing the same I would anyway, rather than going in and doing the same monotonous thing every day. I want to be challenged, so I don't feel like I'm
something with progression as well, something you can progress to, right?
Yeah, but right now I think I'm happy. I don't think I want to progress to that next level yet. Like, I've still got things to learn right now.
You want a job that's fulfilling, like he says.
Yeah, definitely.
But also,
definitely.
It's a career choice where you've got a pathway towards something to achieve something.
Well, to be fair, like progression doesn't always mean a change in position. It's growth in character.
It's growth in character as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's very fancy.
No, genuinely.
And a growth of your bank account as well.
Very true.
Yeah,
very true.
But it's not always. It's not always. No, but all jokes aside, like, it's not always. Yeah, you're right. It's not just about position. It's like personal and professional development as well.
Yeah.
Also, like, part of growth is opening up your network.
Yeah.
Part of your growth is being able to deal with different and handle different types of situations, difficult situations. And how to also problem solve, how to project. Like, it could be a various amount of stuff, but it all leads towards ultimately your development. As a person.
As a person, yeah.
And ultimately throughout that journey, yes, would you like to earn more money? Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
So that's a byproduct of the developing.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But would you say you guys are quite, happy with in terms of your development as your character throughout your working career?
I think so. I think when I look back, I used to think, and I laugh about it now, and we set up I've set up a few businesses when I was in my early 20s, and I used to think I knew everything.
Oh yeah, as we all do. When you're younger, you know it all.
I never ran a business before, but I thought I knew everything about business.
Me and Faz set up a business.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
That went downhill very quickly.
But now it's like, yeah, it did go very well. But we
had an office and everything.
Yeah, we did, yeah. But the thing is like, back then, I look back now and I think, flipping hell, you know what? I didn't actually know anything. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And then over the course of my career, I've done a lot of learning, reading, putting into practice. Some things worked, some things didn't work. What didn't work, throw it out, try the next thing. But I was never afraid to try
something. Yeah, it's trial and error sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing
is, never a given that you can have all the best practices in the world.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you're going to get the best product.
But also, there's a difference between between reading something and actually putting it in action. Because a lot of people can go, oh well, I read 13 books this year, or
what have you done with it?
In terms of like not storybooks for
the self-learn
for self-learning, success books. I've read 13 books on management this year, brilliant, but you're still the lowest performing manager.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So you have to be able to act on it.
It's implementing what you've learned.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you know what works in the real world. People don't do that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Most people don't do that.
But the ones that don't do that are the ones that think they know it all.
there's
you
big
need
talkers.
you need to accept sometimes
You don't know.
that you might not know something. You're in the wrong. You
Yeah.
need to accept these things.
But I never used to accept
and you
that.
need to learn from it.
In my early early
I
20s.
think we all went through that phase.
So
where-
I have a question for you then, Fuzz. Yeah, you said you weren't like that, but what changed? What was it that was like, right, okay, where did that self-reflection come in for you to be like, look, I am not this kind of person. I need to make a change to be this kind of
That's
person.
if he's actually got to that stage. Do you acknowledge now that you
Yeah.
had a lot to learn and
Yeah.
you still have a lot to learn?
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, a key part of it was that my life wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. My life wasn't, I hadn't achieved anything and time was ticking on. And I think that self-realization hits that I can either sit here and I'll blame everybody else for the reasons why my life's not been the way it has been up till now, or I can shut the flip up and I can do something about it.
Do something like that.
And I was one of the lucky ones that decided, you know what, actually I should be taking full accountability for my own life. Like that business that like we set up, for example, didn't work because of you.
Yeah.
Because then if I just blame you, it was on me.
tried it, but Amelius didn't put any effort
then
into
where's
it.
my own accountability? Or other things that I've done, or other things that have gone wrong in my life. Like that's nobody else's fault. That's not a third party. Like I have to look introspectively and say, well, that's on me. Because if I don't, then I'll just live the life till I'm 40, 50, going, nothing ever worked. Nothing ever went my way.
Pointing the finger towards everyone else.
It was this boss, it was this person, it was this person I used to work with, it was this family member. It was like, it's just a shit way to live, isn't it? Like, at what point do I just grab control of myself? Sorry,
Yeah.
so
It's what they say, that
grab control of myself.
grab life by the balls.
Yeah, exactly. But
and
honestly,
be
you know
like,
what?
"Ugh,
Amelius,
squeeze that shit out,
I
man."
swear to God it's true. I swear to God it's true. When you start to actually decide and you make, and it is a decision, and I don't want anybody out there to get it twisted, it's a decision that you have to make.
If you wanna be somebody.
Yeah, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, then you've got to wake up and you've got to fucking pay attention. Like, and I know that's come from Sister Act.
It's as
but-
cliche as it
Yeah,
sounds,
but
and
it's
how
so true.
cheesy it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's
it's
so,
true.
so true. God damn it.
Yeah, but it is like like we said, on Friday nights when everybody else was going out with their boys, doing whatever, I was reading.
No,
And then I was learning, and I was putting it into practice.
To answer my question then, my question was, at what point did you make that decision that, right, I want to make this change?
No, it was probably when I was like 24.
Okay.
That's very young.
Yeah, so it's a very young age, especially like they say men don't mature till they're like 26, 27. Yeah, so to have that
24,
self-reflection.
25, yeah.
What was it? What stage in life were you at?
Well, I was at that stage where...
I'm not pride in your personal
No,
life.
well...
I'm sorry.
Sounds like you are a bit, to be fair. I mean.
It's like an
The question
interview.
is, was your back against the wall
I'm
at this stage?
interviewing you, Faz. It's an interview.
Yeah, no, my back was against the wall, and I do think...
I'm not going to do it.
I do think truly that I was at that stage of life where I was looking around, and it's things that you look at, like, like, are your parents happy with you, or do you, like, even to the point where I was at a low.
Yeah.
I was at a low.
Back against the wall.
Yeah, I was at a low, and then at that moment, and lots of people go through it, but what it depends on is at that moment, what decision do you make?
Okay.
Do I now become a victim?
Which is very easy to do.
Well, it's so much easier to be a victim.
It's so much easier to say this as well, and to blame others
exactly.
for your mistakes and wrongdoing.
Because that's the thing, it's easy to be a victim. It's hard to make a step change because that requires more effort.
Yeah.
It requires so much more effort.
But then, do you know what as well is especially when you're down as well, it's hard to put that effort in.
Yeah.
Because because even at a mental state that you're in is very much a defeatist attitude. Yeah, everything's gone wrong. It's everyone else's fault. I've tried everything. It's not worked for me.
Yeah.
So,
but you know what?
What's the point of trying anything now?
Yeah, but I was also very fortunate because luck also played part in where I landed at a job at that time, and
no, I wouldn't say that was luck. Because I know the story. I know the story of how you got that job, and I wouldn't say it's luck because you prepped.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You didn't just walk in and be like unprepared, and then they go, "Oh wow, we absolutely love you. Here's your job." You put a lot of effort into that. So
But
wasn't.
prior to that, like I did have a few different jobs. You know, some jobs I was like, what am I doing here? Which I'll expand on. But the point being that, you know, when your back's up against a wall, any human, you know, there comes a point at various points in your life where you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
You know, where you have to make a decision. And that decision is either going to take you to a new height, or it's going to keep you trapped in a lower level where you're just forever not going to be happy. And faith in God as well. That also that was a massive part of it, to be honest.
I think
you got to learn, man. You got to learn. You can't just do the same thing. You've got to move forward. You've got to move forward.
Without failure, you're never going to expand. You're never going to grow.
Exactly.
You're never
You learn from your failures as well.
But the thing is, but like with your situation, like you were saying, you were in situations where you felt like your back was against the wall. It was sort of do or die. You needed to make a decision to do certain things, and you took risks as well. Everyone, in terms of business, everyone takes risks.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, in my situation, I've had several businesses. Some have been successful. Some of them haven't worked out quite as well. And I think, like you said, where you sort of saw yourself maturing at the age of 24, up until the age of, I'd say, at least 25, 26, I seriously thought I knew everything, and I held everybody else accountable for things that used to go wrong. Constantly, never used to be my fault. I just knew everything. And I think the change that came was, you know, around that age where you were looking to get married, settle down, you need to have even more responsibilities, because now you're going to be looking after your family. You're going to have to buy a house. You have to look after a household. It's not the same attitude. Now it's more of a case of, well, I'm not just going to willy-nilly take a risk for something. I'm going to calculate it correctly. I'm going to work on it to perfect the product to then be able to sell it. And that takes time, takes a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. And I think that's where it changed for me. When I got to the age of 27, I spent a lot more time planning and prepping things. That's where you start to understand, okay, you look at how companies are formed, you know, reading things, speaking out, networking with people, like you said. I did exactly the same thing. And I used a lot of help from other people, used other business models and tried to change it to how I could adapt it to my business. And luckily, some of these things worked. I made good connections, started making money, and then it all comes down to a point of, do you feel like you're happy and content with what you're doing, or do you feel like you have your own personal growth? When it concerns business, your own personal business, depending on what type of business it is, unless it grows into the stratosphere and becomes a really big thing, you're not really going to see that own personal growth. That's one of the reasons why I decided to step down from businesses and side hustles and focus more on career and family, because I didn't have it in me anymore to then look and...
It depends. I get what you're saying. Like, I did that business, which you all know about, and it flopped. And it like left me in a heap load of debt. And it's literally been... it was a decision that we made, which we thought was going to be great. It was a risk, a big risk.
Every business is a risk. Every business
but
is a risk.
But it's meant that, if it worked, it would have been a great money maker. But it unfortunately did the opposite, which now means, like, the past 4 years, it's just
been
debt.
4 years, wow.
4 years of debt.
And
still ongoing. So that has been a massive impact from a financial perspective. You're talking like a hell of a lot of bloody money. Over that course of that time, and it did get me to a very low point at one stage, because I was like, every month I'm working to be broke. And it's like, friggin' hell, like, how long is this going to last?
It is demoralizing.
If when you look back, and you shouldn't do stuff like this, but you look back at 3 years and you go, 3 years I've just spent paying debts. I've not been able to do anything. You can't live because you literally counting your pennies. But that was a decision that we made. So that is an outcome of our own decision. So I can either sit there and cry about it,
and blame other people and say, "Oh, it's the demographic."
I can accept what's happened,
accept failure, and then move on. And this is how a lot of these.
But also, there's another point in that as well, though. There's another point in that as well, Zed, which is also, like, your yesterday doesn't have to be your tomorrow.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You can you need to act on it, and then you make changes.
Exactly, because yesterday doesn't have to be your tomorrow, but that's why it's important what you do today.
Yeah.
You know, so today, like, let's say for example, and you know, this really dawned on me in my late 20s when, you know, positions started to become available and all the rest of it, and I was watching other people and the way that they behaved, etc., 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 and not in a weird way, but I've always been a watcher. I'll always watch. I'll always watch how are people behaving.
Over here.
Brilliant. You know, but I'll always watch how people are behaving. How are they receiving the room? And, you know, how are they presenting themselves forward? What type of things are they saying? And it doesn't matter whether you're in a position above me or a position below me or on the same level. You know, I'm always watching and I'm taking on the good things, and I'm like, oh, how would I have said that? You know, in my own head, and I'm, you know,
it's you learning, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's learning.
it's a learning
But
thing.
back to that point, you know, where he says about failure, it can happen.
Yeah, it can.
And look at all these big business people, all these CEOs, all these huge multi-billion-dollar
first
industries.
companies never made it.
First companies never made it.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
carried on. They were resilience. So this is another key word: resilience in business.
Yeah, you have to be resilient.
You need to be resilient, and in life as well. You just you use the same. What's the word? Characteristics in life and put it towards business.
Yeah.
So resilience. How would you be resilient in life?
I'd say within business, it is slightly different.
No, it is slightly different, but you use the same sort of principle.
You use certain traits.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. You use certain personality traits.
Yeah, you do.
That you would in business.
Yeah.
You have to be more cutthroat in business than you would in personal life.
Oh, of course, because it's money at the end of the day.
Yeah,
when
but
it concerns money, it's a different kind of
Yeah,
game. But
definitely.
at the same time, the principles remain the same.
Yeah, the principles do remain the
Kindness,
same. Yeah.
generosity, strictness, punctuality.
Punctuality.
Sorry,
No, you're right. Punctuation as well. It's good to write an email that makes sense.
Also, but punctuality. All these things that carry in life are things that you learn as you develop and grow in your own personal.
Yeah, but I'll tell you two things. I'll tell you two
careers.
things. I'll tell you two things. Yeah, the first thing is in that situation. So, for example, one question that you always have to ask yourself is, and this is honestly like, and the 99% of people don't do it, and then you start realizing as you get older why there's a 1%. Why the 1% of people exist, you know, because you realize the majority of people don't do this. The first thing is you have to be 100% honest with yourself, and you have to ask your question every day: have I been the best version of myself today?
Yeah.
And do you know, to be the best version of yourself every day is fucking hard.
It's tiring.
It's hard.
tiring.
It takes a lot of mental health, mental strength.
Mental strength, because it's easy to just coast. And the majority of people, they go in to do their job, they finish, and then they go home.
Go home,
Then come in the next day, they do it the same, then they go home.
Yeah.
Then they come in, they do it, and then they go home. And it's the same thing. And then they'll look back 10 years have passed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be in that position in 10 years' time. So that's why one of the things that I always ask myself, and if I said that every day I'm the best version of myself, I would be a fucking liar. There's some days where I'm like, okay, I just need to get through the day.
Yeah.
You know,
there's even days.
Yeah, you do.
Everyone has those days,
but I try to minimize them.
And the thing is, like, there's certain small actions that you can take throughout the day. So, like, this thing of working from home. So, majority of us work from home now. We were used to having a cycle of waking up in the morning, getting ready, getting changed, going off to work, coming back, and then carrying on with the rest of your day. Some days, and we've all been there, and I guarantee 99% of people out there have been through this, where they'll wake up in the morning, they just cannot be arsed getting changed, shaving, making themselves look presentable. They'll wash their face, brush their teeth, and sit down on the computer.
It's because there's no need.
This is it.
No, but this is the thing. Having that sort of attitude, you're not presenting, you're not the best version of yourself, are you? Right now, you're being the lazy slob of version of yourself by sitting down and not making yourself look presentable. Imagine yourself, you were in front of a customer. Would you then sit in your boxers, in your dressing gown?
No, you wouldn't.
And continue
No, but that's the
with
thing.
the rest of your business? You wouldn't do that.
I get where you're coming from, but it is slightly flawed because you have the means to do that in your own home. You can't go into an office and do that. So you can get away with it.
So you're conducting a business though.
Yeah, but you should do things so you can get away with it.
What I'm saying is, in that sort of scenario, you've got up, you've washed your face, you've brushed your teeth, you've had your shower, but you just haven't put on your suit and tie. Yeah.
Well, you haven't
Instead,
done your hair,
you've put on your pajamas.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be seeing anyone. Everything is going to be voice based. So you don't need to do your hair and all that sort of stuff.
Is that the best version of yourself?
No, it's not the best version of yourself. No. What I'm saying is, given the
situation, the scenario,
you will do the easy option, won't you?
Yeah.
Because who is realistically
That's
going
it.
to get?
Because
that's human instinct.
it's the path of least resistance.
Yeah, that's human instinct. We will always find the path of least resistance. Like you said, we'll always go for the easiest option.
Because I'll be
that's
honest,
not necessarily the best option.
I'm talking from my own experience here because I'm full time work from home.
Yeah.
Complete. I do not go into an office unless it's a work day.
Yeah.
And that's like.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel that working from home, you have developed better in terms of your own personal growth, or do you feel like you've stagnated, or do you feel like you've declined? Because you can decline, you can go the opposite.
I would say,
as well.
Yeah, you can.
I would say from a health perspective, there's been a decline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's not much activity.
Not much activity of going out, commuting, all
Going
that
out,
stuff.
commuting, meeting people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even my immune system has taken a hit.
Yeah.
And then what else would I say? Yes. One of the big things I got back is time.
Yeah.
Because there's no commute. Save money on petrol. Save money on buying lunches, coffees, teas, all that sort of stuff. Because everything's at home.
Yeah.
Because start at 8, finish at 4.
Yeah.
There's no commute. So I've got so much time.
So there are pros and cons.
So those are the
there
pros.
Are pros and cons.
Yeah.
To go back to the 2 points I was going to say. So the first one was, do you remember?
Look, you have to remind us where we got lost
the
in
first one
conversation.
was.
Do you remember the first point?
No. Do you remember
You
it?
see? Yeah. So the first point was.
Mine's gone blank completely.
Yeah. So the first point that I was saying was around ensuring that you are the best version of yourself.
That was it.
Oh,
Best
yeah,
version of
okay,
yourself.
yeah.
Okay, now we were just talking about that.
Then
We just spent the whole conversation
I
talking
know.
about best version of
Then the
ourselves.
second point, which is big, which is the best version of yourself is your foundation. The second point, is where you take yourself to the next level, which is that forget the naysayers and learn. Forget the naysayers and learn. Because, for example, it is very, very easy, right, for people to just come in, do the same thing and go home every day. And you know, when you say stuff, people, what's the response you get? Oh, that's so cheesy. If I said, for example, that, look, to take my dad's analogy that I always use about the train, so you can't have 1 foot on the platform and 1 foot on the train. You either get on or you get off. Oh my God, that's so cheesy. Yeah, but because it's far easier for you to say it's cheesy than actually understand what is the message that
Concept behind it.
Yeah, what is the message that is?
What's the story?
What's the story here? Because yeah, exactly. Because it's easier to just say, right, well, you're being cheesy. And people around you will always tell you, look, slow down. You don't need to do it. You don't need to work that hard. Because they're afraid you're going to up productivity. That's going to also make it difficult for
they're
them.
also afraid that you're gonna pass them in their careers.
Yeah.
And you see this a lot as well.
You do see it.
a lot
I've
where
seen it so much.
There's people that are so content with their roles and jobs that they've been doing it for
you
20
find
years.
it. You find it like you get that kind of person. Like you meet them and they'll be like. So when I joined the business that I'm working for now, I'd met people that had been there far longer than me, and I'd surpassed them.
Yeah.
And they were happy doing their normal day-to-day
And some
job.
people are, and that's fine.
I asked the question, like, do you not aspire to do anything other than this? And the response was, no, why should I? Yeah. I'm coming in, I'm getting paid. I don't need the extra stress, don't need the hassle.
Yeah.
Why should I?
Which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Bearing in
For some
mind,
people, that's fine.
That's absolutely fine for anyone to be the person that they want to be, because different people have different aspirations for what they want in life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think us three, we thrive to achieve more. We
I thrive on success. Yeah, because I thrive on success. Making myself the best version of myself.
Of yourself, yeah. And this is what we do collectively.
Yeah.
I think we do that very well, but we are always constantly trying to achieve success. Success isn't measured success can be measured in different ways. People can perceive it
And success
in
means different ways. Yeah, exactly.
in different ways. And for us, it means progressing and developing our characters. And our careers, and it's not the money. We're not bothered about. Well, we aren't bothered about money.
I'm definitely bothered about the money.
It's all about the money.
But generally speaking, we are looking to
money.
try and improve and find new challenges. And I think we enjoy challenges.
Yeah.
Because if you think about this podcast, this is another challenge for us.
Yeah.
It's not easy setting up a podcast. It's not easy coming up with, discussions every week It's not easy doing the editing, and we've done it all off our own backs.
Yeah.
We've learned everything from the beginning. We've never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
And we've learned this. Why? Because we like to grow. We like to see our own selves grow and prosper. And we think this is something we also enjoy. But we think this is something that we can do. And what we're going to do, we're always going to look for another way to improve it, another way to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what, for us, that's what life is.
So you know what? Like, people will say though, whether it's about this, whether it's about something else.
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah, what's the point?
What are you getting from it?
Yeah, you're just wasting your time.
What have you achieved?
Yeah, you're wasting your time.
It's been 6-7 months.
Yeah, what have you done?
What have you done?
What have you done? How much money have you earned?
Yeah, exactly. You're not doing anything.
The first question is, have you earned anything?
Yeah.
How much money have you made?
Oh, how many subscribers you got? Well, after a year, you've only got 600 subscribers. Oh, well, why are you doing it? Forget about it. Leave it.
We're not quitters. It's not in our. It's not in our blood to quit.
Yeah.
But then, would you say sometimes you should know when to quit?
Here's the thing. So this isn't like.
You know, like when they say, like, you're flogging a dead horse.
Yeah, but you know what?
This horse is gonna die.
Yeah, but shall I tell you something else as well? This is the difference between winners and losers. If you ask Jeff Bezos how many times he was told to stop, because don't forget, Jeff Bezos already had a good job. He was already earning freaking money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the amount of times that people said to him, look, just leave it alone. Yeah, you're not doing anything with this. You know, who's going to buy books on the internet? Yeah.
Because it started off with Kindle.
Yeah. Well, some buying and selling books.
Yeah, it was books.
And it was like, no one's going to do this. It's not going to catch on.
That's what Amazon first was.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly. Jeff, leave it alone.
In a garage.
Yeah, leave it alone, Jeff.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Loads of people told him, leave it. You know, same with Zuckerberg. Same with like loads of different people. You know, if you know the story,
mum.
Richard Branson. Yeah, his own mum was
his
like,
mum was like, leave it. It's not going
Grant
to work.
Cardone. He says, listen, I love my mum more than anything. But all of my businesses, my mum told me, do not do it. It's not going to work.
And therefore, his mum's drunk.
Yeah. And she goes, now she's loving it. You know, but every business that I started, she told me, do not do it. This will not work.
It's almost as like, you know, what they've got going on. It's almost a tradition.
Yeah. But that's different because you know what? Yeah, if you listen to the naysayers, then they are taking the decision away from you because now you're letting them impart their and it's not always negativity because it doesn't always come from a bad place. But
Like your mum, for example, will be saying it out of worry.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't want my kid to be going through that stress, the hassle, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut your point off there.
My point of where you draw the line is if it's having an effect on your health, physically and mentally, having an effect on your family, and it's really burning a hole in your finances to make you bankrupt and financially inept.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
That's where you should draw the
Let
line.
me ask you a question, and I won't say the business name, but I know, right, that there was a business, right, and in this business, basically the owner was getting all the red letters, final, they didn't have enough money to make payroll, and they had to go and remortgage. The two owners, they had to remortgage their houses, try and quickly get money and pull out their own houses. That was then going to be detrimental to their family just to make payroll, so that at that time, the 300 people that they were employing had money to carry on living.
Yeah.
Now, and that was draining big pockets in their holes. They had no other cash. That was it. That was the last stint. Now they could have given up, and they could have decided, look, let's put a pin in it now because now it's affecting. He ended up getting divorced. Yeah. He ended up this caused major problems. In his family life, it caused major problems financially, major problems for obviously between in his relationship, but he persevered, and now that business is well worth over $1 billion.
Yeah. See, it's a difficult one because sometimes luck does play its role.
Yeah, but had he stopped,
Had he stopped, he would never have a $1 billion empire.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's the point. So where do you draw the line?
But then also, similarly, if you look at it from another perspective, if he invested everything, remortgaged his house, lost his family, and it didn't work.
Yeah, but you can't.
There's always that possibility.
There is, but
That's the risk, though, isn't it? That's the risk. It's either going to work or it isn't. Yeah, mine didn't work. I ended up out of pocket, whereas his, the son of a bitch.
But you know what? It goes back to like, Grant Cardone. I remember, and it really put things into perspective. And he's got a book called The 10X Rule. And he says in that, that there's a mantra that you should live by. And you know what? I agree with him. And that is that success is your duty, it's your obligation, and it's your responsibility. Anything less is an injustice to nobody else except yourself.
Yeah, okay.
And I think if you remind yourself of that every time when you're making a decision, then it just puts everything back in perspective for you.
Yeah.
That, okay, if success is my duty, it's my obligation, my responsibility, then if anything less than that is an injustice to myself, okay, can I truly say that I have done everything? Can I truly say that I've not left a stone unturned? And if I can say yes to all those questions, then fine, maybe it's time to pull the plug. But if it's not, and there's still a bit more of me that is like, you know what, I didn't do this, I skipped this here. If I had done this here, then maybe this outcome would have been different. And there's actually more that I could have given, then,
No, I do agree with you. I do agree. I think you have to press every button.
Yeah.
You've got to really investigate every finer small detail to be able to say and satisfy and say, you know what, I did everything I could. Yeah. And if it didn't work, you literally did everything you could. Yeah. That's what you can say. But if you give up at a stage where it's like, okay, it's do or die. Yeah. I need to remortgage the house or whatever, but there were still some possibilities of things you could have overlooked. That's when you'll really kick yourself in the foot and say, you know what, you'll regret it later on in life. I never did everything I could to potentially, make myself successful. Yeah, exactly. And I think we do sort of apply that to everyday life. We'll try to look at every option that we can to fix something, to improve ourselves, whether it's our health, whether it's our family, anything. We'll try our best to try and find solutions for everything. And then we'll look for every possibility. But there are some people who won't do that. No, they just don't want that. No, they don't have the time.
But there's also people that will tell you that you shouldn't do that either.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
And learn.
Yeah.
And learn. You know why?
Should stay at your level, which is beneath me.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like I can't like underpin how much learning is so important, because every single person, or the majority of people, 99% of people, after school or college or university, they don't learn anymore. And when they do actually have learning experiences, they don't actually bank them, because they're just going through the motions every day. And they don't actually take a moment to sit back and reflect and go, hold on a minute, I've just learned a really fucking valuable lesson there. Yeah. Okay, how can I now utilize that moving forward? Because they just do the same thing, wake up, do the same thing, wake up, do the same thing, wake up, do the same thing. And how can you ever get better? How can you push forward? Yeah. And in my role at work, sometimes it's frustrating because you can see people making progress, but sometimes it's hard to get them to see that they see it. And just because I'm that type of person doesn't mean that everybody's that type of person. And when you're trying to work and get people to a certain standard, but they're not seeing it, it's fucking hard.
And for the progression, you need to have belief in yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it says, if you don't have the belief in yourself and the confidence, you're not going to be able to achieve what you want.
If you want it, you can achieve.
But I think like you two, I think you both are so far much more capable than what you do day to day.
Yeah,
I
industries are different though.
Yeah, the industries might be different.
Like,
the industry might be different.
Yeah, I know what you're saying about how you adapt yourself to things and whatnot, but it doesn't always quite work like that.
Well,
I know
what
you're saying. I know what you're saying. But sometimes it could be a qualification that's stopping you from moving to
in your world specifically.
Specifically, yeah.
Okay, fine.
You need
that
to have
is a prerequisite
qualification, which I'm working to get.
Yeah, that's a prerequisite.
So until you've got that, I feel like where I am now,
so what's
until I just need to do it. What's stopping me?
Yeah,
yourself.
I've got a million excuses, but to stick in line with what our podcast is all about, nothing. I should fucking do it.
Yeah, you should.
But
you should.
Everyone has excuses for everything. Everyone has different
That's
stages
what I mean.
in life.
Because you know why? That's exactly what I mean, Zed. It's hard to be the best version of yourself every single day. It's not realistic. But if you can just minimize the days where you're not, and you can make sure that the most of this year you are the best version, you will 100% see growth. I swear to God you will.
Yeah.
I swear to God you will.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'll fucking book that course and I'll fucking do it next week. No, you need about 6 months worth of
You know what? You know the way I always see it, honestly, all jokes aside, right? If us three went in a room with Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk,
they're fucking taking their money.
Bill Gates, like these billionaires, yeah? If we went in a room with these billionaires and they said, listen, you three, sit down.
Yeah.
We're not leaving this room for 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah, for 3 days. And in those 3 days...
Where you meant to piss? Where you meant to shit?
In your pants. Yeah. In those 3 days...
You got to think of all the possibilities.
No, but listen, in these 3 days, we are collectively going to tell you three, step by step, how to become billionaires. I swear to God, we would, for the life of us, we would be listening and writing down every step of the way.
Yeah, we would.
So we're not in that room. You get me? So outside of that room, what are we doing to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to improve our prospects? And that's and I guess that's the question, isn't it? Yeah. You know, because it's easy, boys, and we've all done it. To sit there and go, oh, I can't be asked today. You know, I just need to get through the day, or you know, where we're like, you know what, nah, that's hard. You know what? Rather than doing that, sack it. I know I've got this thing to do, but I'm just going to play Age of Empires instead.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Like, I did it the other week, honestly. Like, I actually do. I was like, I'd rather play Age of Empires with the boys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's hard to be, and I'm not saying that you got to be perfect all the time, but you have to minimize the days where you're not the best version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do, I promise, this year, all three of us will see massive growth, especially with this.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to persevere through the challenges, don't we?
Yeah, we have to.
And it's what we're doing together. We do it together.
You have to. If you don't, then it's the what did they say? The definition of insanity is
doing
the same thing
over and over again,
expecting a different result.
Yeah, Einstein's definition of insanity.
You know what? I've got a question I want to end it on. Or do you have a question as well? Because you look like you have a bit of a question.
Go on, what's your question, sir?
My question wasn't. It was just a phrase that I remembered. A little thingo. That the greatest injustice that you can do to yourself is being mediocre.
Yeah,
it's so true. It's so true.
And I remember when I used to train in the classroom, I used to have that written on the board.
Yeah.
Like the greatest injustice you can do to yourself is to be mediocre.
But it's so true that.
Did anyone did it like, so if you talk about percentages of the people in the room, what percentage of people paid mind to that and actually took note of it?
100%.
Very good.
Because I would make sure that they knew about
you
it.
captured them.
Yeah.
But when they walked into the room, how many of that percentage?
I don't know. I wouldn't gauge it like that.
But Zed, you need to realign that question too. Once they left the classroom,
yes,
how many then still lived it?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you,
not one.
To the majority of
yeah.
Because you'll see, you know why? Because any training group that comes in, an X percentage will drop out in the training group. X percentage will then drop out within the first 3 months outside of that training group. Yeah. And then you've got, the ones that'll stay, and maybe one person from that training group, or maybe 12 to 20 people, will be one that actually shoots up. It's very, very few people. It's very, very few people. Yeah. And that's why you've got the 1%. How can 1% of the entire world hold 99% of all the wealth?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people,
you know why?
A lot of people argue saying it's on the backs of the poor and taking advantage. But everyone has the opportunity in life to become something.
And you know what? But like to that point, in certain generations, I agree with that. That it was definitely built on the backs of other people. There were certain periods that were built on the backs of our forefathers. Oh yeah. So I'm not going to disagree with that in any way, shape, or form. But in today's world, where we live.
It's a different age.
It's a different age. I'm talking about here now.
The opportunity, an equal opportunity, I'd say, to be able to achieve what
Yeah, or go to the areas to achieve what they want to achieve. Because it's very easy to sit and look at your environment and say, well, I'm a product of my environment, so you know what? I'm going to go sell some drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm a product of my environment. There's no opportunities here, so you know what? I'm going to do. Like, Bugsy Malone. Yeah. He says it and he talks about it in his songs. That he was a product of his environment and he learned a lot from that environment, but then he used that to get on out.
Yeah.
And, you'll go, people turn around and say, I'm a hater, I'm a deserter, I'm this, and that. And, but if you actually
left the hood.
Yeah, but
it made his life better.
It made his life better.
And his family,
exactly.
so.
He could have said, you know what, I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to keep selling mall. I'm going to keep going on, doing whatever, selling drugs and all the rest of it. And I'll just be another statistic. But he said, no, hold on a minute. I ain't going to do that. I've got an opportunity today. I'm gifted to some degree in this. So now I'm going to get better at it and I'm going to do something with it and I'm going to get on out of it because I want the finer things in life. I want good things.
Fair play to him.
Fair play to him. He did it.
He's done it.
He did it.
So I've got a question I want to end it on, and I just want you guys to answer it in a very, very, very short few sentences.
Okay.
Right? How do you measure success? What does success mean to you?
I think success for me personally is looking back when I am on my deathbed, knowing that I've left a footprint on the earth that once I'm gone will carry on.
Be remembered.
Be remembered. Whether that's through something personal I've done, through my kids, or something, but where it's a scary thought to think in 3 generations' time, nobody will ever know you worked. You worked, you lived, and you walked on this earth.
Yeah. Very good
If
answer.
you go and ask your friends, never mind what their grandfather's name is, ask them what their great-grandfather's name is.
And what they did. What did they achieve?
I bet they don't know.
Yeah. Good answer. Very good answer. Aurelius.
Follow
I
that
don't
one.
think I can top that. So my idea of success would be to be financially free. Yeah, that's just currently at this stage.
Yeah.
Is to be financially free, and then I could do whatever I wanted to do,
Mm.
whether that's building my legacy, whether that's doing anything it is.
Yeah.
But that would be successful.
Successful, yeah. I think that's what you've said is very true, reflecting on what I would say as well, and also what you said. So just to wrap it up, how I measure success is to live a fulfilling life. And how do you achieve that? You need financial freedom. So those are the 2 key things. You need financial freedom. Doesn't mean you need to have millions. No, you don't need to have millions. Financial freedom to be able to lead you to live a fulfilling life. I think that's what my measure of success is. And what's a fulfilling life? Experiences with friends and family.
Yeah. Touché.
So yeah.
What more would you want?
What more would you want? So yeah.
Great memories. Like me and Faz, we talk about it. Yeah, not say that we don't have conversations. But this is like
It sounds like it. It
is
sounds like
like-
you don't get me involved anymore.
this is like whenever we are together, we always say it's all about building memories.
Yeah.
So when you look back in the years to come, you're like, wow, great memories with family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can only do that when we have time.
Yeah.
And
And
make
that's the
time with
thing.
each other.
So we need to, work. Hopefully, this
It
will
means
be,
become financially free so we can build memories.
maybe the podcast will
It's like,
give us financial
look at
freedom.
your memory that you had with your holiday. You went on one holiday together.
One holiday, and it was sick.
You're sick.
Yeah. And imagine if you never did that, you never built that
We
memory.
won't have that memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what it
that
is.
bond as well with.
Always having to sit in the front seat. I'm sitting in the front.
Oh
And
yeah.
we had the girls in the back.
We'll have
me
another
and Zoe in the
podcast.
front.
We'll have another podcast about the stories on holidays and
And
stuff.
I'd always
like
fall
that.
asleep.
To be fair though, you had a disability.
You had a disability, yeah.
It was
I wasn't
diagnosed.
diagnosed.
But the funniest
thing.
thing was, it would be in an instant,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "Oh, how can
How can it be that
you
quick?
survive? Are you the better version of yourself today?"
And on that note,
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and let us know what you think and how you measure success.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Adios.